While many crow populations continue to rise in certain places because of their tolerance for urbanization, others have been decimated due to West Nile virus, a vector-borne disease that is intensified by climate change. In our collective anxiety over the future of our beloved planet and all of our kindred beings, the crows among us offer a rare perspective. They walk the sidewalks we share and fly with a sky view of life beyond the one that we earthbound humans regularly see and touch. Along with the lifestyle changes and technological fixes that climate crisis demands, crows pull us into an even wider narrative. In their bold, boisterous, watchable presence, they remind us of the myriad organisms, those that are small, hidden, silent, undersea, atop mountains, the creatures, trees, fungus, soil that we will never see and yet connect with deeply in the pattern of our lives. Crows call us to pause sometimes, to remember we dwell on a damaged earth, yes, but one that remains full of grace and beauty and more than human intelligence, one on which we watch over, and are watched in return. I'm not getting a crow tattoo, at least not yet. But every day I look at the crows in my neighborhood and pause with gratitude for the wisdom they impart when I choose to pay attention. We are all in this together. Crows and Kairos, an invocation. By all rights, I should never see the crow who perches almost daily on the electrical wire just beyond my study window. Her story will be told in these chapters, and it will become clear first that she should be dead, and further, that since she did not die after all, my wire should be the last place that she chooses to land. This young crow is immediately recognizable by her habit of roosting with her belly on the wire rather than perching properly upright, a habit shared by broken-legged crows who cannot support their full weight or stand on a wire, balancing on just one good foot. I call her Charlotte. Naming wild animals is problematic, inviting confusion between our relationships with wild and domestic animals, which must be qualitatively different. Still, familiarity breeds naming, and I have been watching this crow every day for months, learning her individual needs, quirks, and habits. Without even thinking about it, I began calling her Charlotte, after the brilliant, self-effacing, fragile but brave Charlotte Bronte. When Charlotte was an injured fledgling, I gently kidnapped her and held her captive in my bathtub for an entire day, force-feeding her cat food and egg and splinting her bent leg. Having worked as a wild bird rehabilitator, I possess an instinctual, if not always sensible, impulse to tend to injured birds. Her parent crows, who have continued to tend to the fragile Charlotte long after other adult birds have given off caring for their young of the year, and who often perch on my wire along with her, should, given my offense, take her somewhere else. They all recognize me, of that I am sure. A recent study by John Marsluff, corvid researcher at the University of Washington, confirms that crows can recognize individual human faces. Marsluff noticed that crows he had captured and banded would react negatively to his presence, cawing and dive-bombing whenever he approached. His students, who had also banded crows, experienced the same discrimination from crows in the campus study area. To test the idea that crows were recognizing faces in such instances, rather than clothes, gait, or some other identifying characteristic, Marsluff employed masks. A dangerous caveman mask was donned by students who trapped and banded 7 campus crows. In the following months, volunteers wearing the caveman mask walked prescribed routes known to be frequented by these crows and their associates. The birds went wild, reading the Crow Riot Act whenever the mask wearers passed. For control purposes, the same volunteers walked their routes wearing a Dick Cheney mask, which had not been worn by the trappers/banders, and the crows left them entirely alone. It appears that crows also learn to dislike individual humans through social learning. If birds in a given group appear to loathe a particular person, other crows in the group will take up this aversion for themselves, uttering a vocal rebuke when the person is spotted or avoiding him entirely. Many people don't need a study to tell them that crows can pick them out of a crowd. Anyone who has chased a crow, come too close to a crow's active nest, or tried to approach a crow's chick knows that the crows involved, and others watching, will harbor an unforgiving resentment toward the guilty party.